down to doing a bit of silage spinning out. This is what I was pushing on Friday and Saturday, especially mainly Saturday. And it's Tuesday now because Sunday and Monday, well, it didn't rain all the time, it's been showery. In between that it's been very humid and little wind. Yesterday got quite windy and this grass has dried out quite a bit, and more importantly the ground's drying up to run on without making mud on the headlands where I turn at the end. Pheasant down there. We've got drips of water in up Cab Road. It would possibly be rain, but in fact I pressure washed this the other day. When I put the mower away, I washed the tractor and the mower off with a pressure washer. The windows are still a bit mucky. Not as bad as they were. I've got the bulbs of muck off the back anyway. But I have to say this looks better than I thought. It looked pretty horrible yesterday. The grass was still wet through. It has been wet through for 2 days. It's gone a little bit yellow. It's quite nice stuff to start with. It's more stalky than I liked. But they'll have no bobs and scoffing that. They like this red clovery stuff. We're using the original PZ haybob. This will be about the third one these way back. I changed mine about something like 5 or 6 years ago, so it's a relatively new one. It only takes 2 rows. So it's quite slow, but you know, it does the job. You need to have something matched to your tractor and the area you're covering. I'll easily cover this in that I cut the other day. This morning. Oh, sorry. Quite sort of mid-late afternoon, we're all done. So we're hoping to bale and wrap this either later tomorrow or early Thursday to suit itself really. There's a few little tricks with the haybob. Above all else, don't go too fast. It's always tempting to, you can go faster, but you won't get to see even the spread. You'll tend to create lumps, and once a lump starts to form, if you go over it again and again, you can't really shake them out. Well, you can, but it's difficult. But if you go slowly from the start, no more than this sort of speed. And another little thing, ideally, you work in the opposite way to which it was cut the first time. You'll pick it up cleaner. You can't always do it, and I'm not that obsessed with it. But I am doing that here because I'm a bit worried it was stuck down to the ground more from the wet. So when I mowed, I came over in the opposite way, if you say follow what I mean. But I think when I get going on field properly, since it's not proving difficult to lift off the ground, I'll just do my other technique to just go across in a kind, I'll show you later on perhaps, sort of miss one, take one type technique. But I see, typically I've miscalculated it. I've got, can you see, I've got the headlands there, and I've got 3 rows instead of 2, so I'm going to have to, let's just double check that, 2, 4, 6, oh maybe not, hang on, I'm right after all that. I didn't particularly count it, but you've got a 50-50 chance, so it's not really worth worrying that much, because you can just run over a row and a half, sorry, do a single row if you have to, but that was right in the end. Pure chance though. But today it looks good, doesn't it? It's sunny, it's quite windy, and it's warm. It's about 18 degrees. In fact, I really got too thick a shirt. Still got my sweatshirt on the other day, but it's also extremely humid, so it's not ideal. However, it's decent wilted weather. There's just a chance of a little bit of rain again tomorrow morning, which you don't really want. But it was just a chance, and probably only like a half a millimetre or something, and then later in the day it's going to be better than today, much drier air, rather cooler but sunny and windy again. I mean, for many years these fields here were basically in barley with a short-term lay alternating. We used to grow winter barley quite a lot, then we moved on to spring barley because the spring barley varieties improved quite a bit because we had better means of weed control and dogs in the way as usual. We'd quite like to jump in and have a ride round, I don't really know why. She seems to soon get bored. But anyway, this has been in bars, so this is one of the later ones to be sown down to Red Clover Lane. It's still very clovery. But it will be fading out the next year or two, and then it'll just be a reasonable ryegrass layer unless I re-sow it. At the bottom we've got rabbit net, which has made quite an improvement. Behind that edge it's the neighbours, and it's quite a steep little bank which has been always been an absolute rabbit haven for them to burrow in. So they were living there and come back through into here to feed. And there's a lot of walkers there, that's unusual. Well no, maybe not, they're going home. I think there's sort of stroppy walkers are out of it in course now. They're making a point of going here, there and everywhere. There's a footpath through there almost nobody uses. I bet they try and climb over the fence rather than go over the stile, because the stile's in the corner in some bushes. Nobody uses it. If people walk through it, it will stay open. So anyway, we may be bale this tomorrow. We don't know yet. And I'm guesstimating about 150 bales. That's what there was last year on these two fields. And at the time that seemed an unusual lot, but I think if anything it's similar or even a bit heavier this year because we're rather later. It never really ran out of steam. It started growing pretty well early on, really soon after it was cut. And we just would have done it 2 weeks ago ideally. This one take one technique, rather than taking a break and ending up with a single row, you do it like this. You see I've missed two rows, missed a pass, then done one, and take this one. So next time at the bottom I go up that one, and then I go right along to there. So I'm missing actually 4, I don't know, whatever. Get the picture of it, and this gives you a sensible turning circle, and provided you made a reasonably nice job of putting it and didn't have too many short rows, you can go across the whole field like this. And then if you were needed to do it again the second time, you can aim to go the opposite direction of each road. You see now I've got a reasonably nice turn round there, even with a 4-wheel drive, which is a bit cumbersome. It's there. And then next time I'll head over there. We'll go right round here, it's not a very long way around. This field's about 15 acres in total, which I usually tend to do it as 2 separate blocks because it originally was 2 fields with a big hedge down the middle. This was back in the 50s or 60s. We never took the hedge out, but I think probably not a bad idea because it would be a gappy hedge. These are the biggest field on the farm, but it often ends up in two blocks because the far end of it isn't as good at land as this, because it's very steep. This is possibly one of the best fields on the farm for soil type. holds moisture. It gets quite a lot of muck, that's part of the reason, because it's so handy for the buildings. It would always have been the case, but now if you've got like your slurry bit's getting a bit full, you can usually come on here. You can even do it with the umbilical. Not that I've one, but I've done that two or three times. So now we go down this one to get the idea anyway. And this is the way, rather than taking a complete break away over the field, you're minimising the distance you go on the end and not running over the same bit repeatedly so much.